Yeah, story 34. Chinese. Chinese. Uh, I was given the privilege to work with a party of Chinese officials. As mentioned previously, the tourist office they tended to give me terrible, stable jobs, shitty, shitty activity, in order to gain the honor to and the privilege to get some American clients or British saga, sex and games for the aged, which were more lucrative. But to get the real money, you had to do dirty or at times even um, really stressful and consuming, nerve-wracking jobs. So these Chinese were from various provinces, Sichuan, Guangzhou in the south. They were getting ahead, but that's 25 years ago. So. And some big shots. Deputy Minister for China, which probably had 500 million people in his constituency or something. Um, but they were obnoxious to come to the conclusion. Party apparatchiks. I'm not sure how they promote people now. I'm very skeptical. In fact, I'm convinced that when you say commie red, to me you just say evil. Lex Luthor. And to continue this and then the side note, look at what they, those who are found corrupted, and there's so many, look at what they have. Ferraris and in a supposedly equal society. Acquired by corruption, not work. So, because they were so important, in fact, they had a guy from whatever branch that is, Buzatu called, I would say real KGB profile, a guy very reluctant to get in anything. If this is white, he would not definitely say it's white. Very, very careful to. And in the end, I would immediately hope to make my point, mentioning what happened. Very scared to do anything, and very inefficient in the end. The lousy man doing a lousy job. But that's the way the system works. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and they promote sometimes the most stupid, I would say. He became an ambassador to Indonesia or someplace in the east, as a specialist in Eastern languages. He did know Chinese, that's I can say. I mean, some Chinese, whatever, if it was good, and he could. For me, in the end, I was left only with Hun Hao, Bu Hao, and Xie Xie. Xie Xie is thank you. Hun Hao is good or bad. I don't know which is which. Hun Hao is Hun Hao. Hun Hao, Bu Hao mean good and bad. Which is which, I have no idea. So, and I didn't feel like learning because, which was the case with so many Hebrew. Working with Jewish people, I started to learn some Hebrew, some 200 words or so. Anio Evota, Pagesh Maharbabok, and Buhima Baim, even a few phrases. But with the Chinese, they, in various places, it's true, it's perhaps subjective to come to the end, they give all kinds of rather expensive vases, table mats with embroidery in rich silk. They were expensive gifts. Some things you can hang from the ceiling, light fixtures. They had expensive, and according to the hierarchy, uh, this is the communist days. I don't know. To me, because I wasn't high in the hierarchy, but they just gave me, I don't know, some shitty Chinese, as we say, cheap Chinese copy of something, a replica, fake. Uh, no matter how much I worked for them for 2 weeks and got them out of some tangles and some difficult spots. Um, I mentioned two incidents. One which showed to me how how hypocritical the hierarchy was, and how stupid I could see throughout the trip. Whenever we stopped in a county or something, we met with the top brass of the tourist office and some other local dignitaries, and they were incompetent to the maximum point. But they knew something, for sure. Someone, not knew, and knew something on someone eventually. So, mai fi comentat. In Timișoara, at one point it was a laughing matter to me. The Chinese asked, well, look, you're at the border, so are some of us. Guangzhou, we're near Hong Kong, and I guess it was not yet in their hands. And anyway, even in their hands, that's a place with a different perspective. And even now, I can see that they try and control. They kidnapped some guys, 4 or 5, who had the guts to print a biography which was not with Hosanna for this guy, new guy, Xipino, whatever his name is, the new leader. And they simply put the pressure on those Hong Kong editors and book people. So coming back, you're near the border. How do you stop the influence of the foreign evil propaganda, whatever? And these guys looked at each other and the Romanian side and said some stupid communist nonsense. But for me, it was ridiculous and funny because I could see as they met, some of them met specially for this meeting with the Chinese, came from, I don't know, near the frontier, Lugoj, whatever. And they exchanged some of those propaganda incriminated by the Chinese. Some of those magazines, reviews, Burda for fashion, Playboy, whatever. And the other thing was, and I will end with this, the special dinner in Timișoara. They picked Citadela, a restaurant not far from the Continental Hotel, where there were some other incidents. We could see a UEFA Champions League, the version of them, a match, because both the Hungarians and the Serbians would broadcast the special match, whatever it was then. Within, many television was only stupid propaganda crap. But this stupid Buzatu asked if we can, the manager of the hotel, and the other said no. And he let it at that. I mean, I tried not to say this, but that was the hidden message. Well, look at you, stupid bastard. You're some kind of big shot in Bucharest. You are somewhere in the hierarchy. That's why they send you with these Chinese big shots. Why don't you flex your muscles a little? He was, as I said, a stupid bastard, afraid for his ass for him. And the Timișoara people impressed me as, well, more open. They had access to more things. They made the revolution. But some of the nomenclatura they had and they have were awful. Now that I'm talking to you, I'm come to think of it, perhaps that's a small contribution to the revolution, why they started there, because those leaders were even more obnoxious, and the usual common guy hated them even more. Who knows? They were very arrogant and we're the best in this country. Anyway, and to end with, so they go to this special dinner. The local guy, the head of the tourist OGT, whatever, offered to pay. They had drinks, they enjoyed themselves, they had 10 courses each for the meal. But then the following day, in the morning, the Chinese delegation sits on the bus and sits and sits, and we sit and we wait because they they have a problem. The local guy, the head of the OGT, was enthusiastic and inebriated the night before, but in the morning realized that he's overspending. To pay for that meal would, I don't know, make him, I'm just speculating, go to jail. He had no more money in the bank. It's irrelevant. The main thing is that they were as dark as hell, as black as night, to quote Shakespeare. No good, useless, dumbheads, shit brains. I had to go out of the bus, ask what the problem is, that we screw up the whole thing with this keeping in the sun. The air conditioning was not working too well at this bus, and anyway, sitting on the bus for more than 1 hour and then counting for another day, maybe no end in sight. So what's the problem? It's this and this. You cannot pay, and what do we do? And this the stupid, both stupid big shots from the county and from the capital couldn't make head or tail. Didn't know what to do. What do? I can't pay, but how can I? Anyway, I went to the restaurant. I said, okay, I'll try and see what I can do. Went to the restaurant. I remember I made them, I knew they're so important that it would not, first of all, they would not create such a kerfuffle once back in Bucharest on account of what they ate or drank. And then it was worthwhile explaining what I just did to you back home. Look, this is what happened. I mean, we had to fix it as fast. I mean, any more minutes would just create, and we might as well tell them to go on a plane and then leave for home with a shitty impression. I mean, fuck up all the money spent on these guys, because money was spent to create a good impression, to whatever. So I said, okay, let's make it fast. Put not itemized. An itemized bill would take, for what they ate, would take, and to try and make it up again would take another couple of hours or so. This one had this. No, just put 3 kilos of cognac, put 5 kilos of tsuika, brandy, whatever, to make up the sum. We pay it, we go, and that's it. Not with divided into, and I'll explain back home, and it's indeed, they drank quite a bit. By the way, after the end of the meal, they would just let out gas, burp, and fart to express, and quite often they spit. I understand they have now guides when they travel to Europe and other places that will explain to visitors that they shouldn't do these in other parts of the world, but back home, they're signs of enjoyment.